I guess we'll get a chance to play a little bit and see what this thing feels like in rear wheel drive. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sean, this is Dream Cars Daily, and that's the new Lamborghini. It's currently all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive means no burnouts, no donuts, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna take the Lambo, throw it in the bay, up on the lift, and we're gonna rip out the front end of the drivetrain. The diff, the axles, and the drive shaft are coming out today. I've never driven one that's two-wheel drive. I've heard it's a way better experience. The all-wheel drive is nice. The drive back, it was great. It does feel kind of a little bit clunky and you can feel it. So that'll be nice to get rid of that. And then, of course, now we'll be able to do burnouts. Well, never had a Lamborghini up on a lift before, and it is tight. I turned the pads all the way up as far as they would go, so we should be good, but that's a little bit nervous there. We'll have to pay attention. Yeah, we still got clearance. Still clear. Is it? Oh, yeah. Is there a bolt there? Nope, it's good. It's clear and it's lifting, but man, it's that close. All right, going up. Well, they said everything looked good and it was clean under here, and it is. Everything from here forward has to go. Obviously, I've never done this before, so I'm gonna kind of be learning a little bit as I go, but generally we're just ripping out a bunch of drivetrain components, diff, axles, and drive shaft, so we gotta get the underbody tray off. Looks like a whole bunch of T30 Torx. So we've got this panel here and this panel here. And that is a lot of Torx right there. So I don't think you guys want to watch all that, but we're yep, just gonna get a whole bunch of them out. When Lamborghini built this car, I'm pretty sure they decided they did not want these panels to come off, because those are just the front panel. It's 25 or so, and what, 5, 10, 15, so roughly maybe 30-ish. And just the aluminum center section here. I think we just pull the drive shaft right here. I think there's a carrier here that probably stays. I'll have to look into it a little bit more to make sure. But drive shaft here, carrier bearing, drive shaft here. Then I think this carrier and this assembly will all come out as one. And then we got a couple axle shafts. And presumably that should be it, and if that is it, then yeah, we should be golden in, I don't know, an hour or two, I guess. All right, drive shaft is out. That was actually pretty easy. And I'm gonna lower it down. We got wheels to come off so we can pop the axle shafts, the CV axles out. Yeah, and so far, so good. There's a 17 millimeter axle nut. 17 millimeter Allen. That thing was on there. Took the wheel off, tried to break it loose with the impact, and it didn't want to come off. I actually had to put the wheel back on, drop it down onto the ground, and bust it loose with the impact, and it was still fighting me. So, same thing on the other side. I have to take the wheel off to get the center cap out, wheel back on, drop it down, bust that out.
A few moments later.
Still not loose. Well guys, looks like this project is gonna be a little bit stalled. Did a little bit of research. After popping those out and kind of looking at some stuff, I was actually able to look at the back of the axle shafts, and the CV axle actually has the splines for the ABS, which is why they sell stub shafts. I thought we could get away without doing the stub shafts, but looks like we're gonna have to get some. Otherwise we're gonna throw ABS codes, and I don't want that. So the front diff can stay in, it's just not gonna be powered for right now. I've got the drive shaft out. I'm gonna leave the trays, the underbody panels off, leave the drive shaft out, and I guess we'll get a chance to play a little bit and see what this thing feels like in rear wheel drive. But I definitely want to get that stuff out the rest of the way, get the weight off of that front end, and it'll steer a little better too. It's you can definitely feel the clunkiness of the all-wheel drive up there, so I'm ready to get that out of there, but it's not going to happen today. So I'm going to button this thing up for now and get out on the road and enjoy it in rear wheel drive. Again, today's a new day. Well, I had the Lambo up on the lift. I saw what appeared to be a very tiny coolant leak. So I'm throwing this thing back up. We're gonna get a look at that coolant leak, and we're gonna change out the coolant because there's green coolant in it, and that does not belong in a Lamborghini. The proper coolant for it, I think, was G12, which has now been superseded by G13, which is a Volkswagen Audi specific coolant, and yeah, this is a Volkswagen essentially. So we definitely want to get the right coolant in it. I don't want any damage to my system over, you know, $50 worth of coolant. So up she goes. I've got to get some light in here for you to see this, but right there's a little bit of antifreeze, which is not actually coming out of there, but it's coming from here. So I think we're going to replace this piece just to be safe, this piece, and this hose here, and there's one other one up there. I think maybe this one. One of those ones up there is also going to get replaced. But first we're going to get the system drained from here. Yep. I just set that down. I don't think it's going anywhere. I have no idea how the green coolant got in there, but it has to be completely flushed out. The green and pink or purple, whatever it is, it doesn't mix at all. So we get about 3 gallons out, 3.5 gallons or so, and I'm going to fill it with straight water, run it, flush the system, drain it again. We may do that 2 or 3 times just to be safe. So first fill is done. Gonna get it back up in the air and see what color the fluid comes out at this point. If it comes out pretty clear, we'll just do one more flush. If it doesn't, then we're gonna do a third one.
If you drop it, you drop it. I got it.
It's still pretty green.
Goodness, it didn't come out like that before.
We've done a total now. This is our 4th flush. On the 3rd one, it did not look green anymore, but I wanted to make sure that it is not green at all. My understanding is, and obviously I'm not a professional Lamborghini mechanic,
That looks way better.
but yeah, we're definitely clear now. My understanding is that mixing the green and the pink coolant will actually cause it to coagulate, and you'll have gel. I don't want gel in my Lamborghini. Not positive, but something tells me that wouldn't be good. All right, guys. Well, I I will share my failures as well as my success. Looking at everything down here, got all these lines, and I looked at that and thought, hey, that's probably coolant tank down there. Thought maybe we would crack these open and get a little more coolant out before filling the system. And I should have looked that up. So when I say failures, this was a failure. I should have looked it up. I should have gotten more information. That is the fuel tank. As you can see, I have a wardrobe change because I took a shower of 93 octane. And yeah, that is not what you're supposed to shower with. But we got the plug back in, and we're gonna start working on the system. We do still have a couple of hoses here that we need to take care of. But no more fuel. All right, so we've isolated, actually only 2 hoses that I think need to be replaced. Got the empty spot there, which is this guy. Not even sure that one needs to be done, but it was wet, so I'm replacing it. And then a tiny little one, what you see sticking out right there, goes up to the coolant expansion tank, and it's pretty brittle. It's a lot of work to turn the camera around when you've got stuff in your hands. But yeah, this guy here is pretty brittle. I honestly think this is the only one that was leaking, but hoses are cheap, engines are expensive. I was gonna say expensive are engines, but I suppose that would be true either way. However, again, hoses, cheap, engines not. We'll replace what's wet. AutoZone doesn't carry Lamborghini parts. Who knew? I was able to get some hose to replace the small one, and it's actually fuel line hose. It's a larger diameter hose than what was in there. And then this piece here actually just got a hose with the same inside diameter, and we're gonna cut it to fit. Oh, I think it was this right here. I think that's the way I determined. We're just gonna make our own hose because Perillo is my closest Lamborghini dealer, and I need this today. When in doubt, create. Who says AutoZone doesn't have Lamborghini parts? Yeah, it had to kind of jam up to the side of it and then slide on.
Or your side? It's going.
I would say any way it goes on. So it looks like we're probably done underneath the car. We need to drop the car down and fish any remaining hose up, put another clamp on it, and fill the system and test it. All right, this turned into a way bigger project than I expected it to be. We found another line that was damaged, and it was a nightmare. It went down behind the engine block right up against the firewall to a coolant crossover pipe. It was not fun. I didn't vlog it. I just needed to get this done because this is going to Deleeuw to get wrapped. So, new video for the wrap coming up shortly here. I'm gonna leave these underbody trays off for today. I wanna make sure that there is no coolant leaking, and obviously the panel would cover that and I wouldn't be able to see it. So it's filled, everything is as it should be at the moment. And yeah, that was a project. You guys, we got shirts available. We got 3 different shirts, 2 hats. I promise yours won't be covered in gasoline when I send it to you. That one is, but yours won't be. So I'm gonna thank you guys now for watching. I'm gonna get this down off the lift and take it for a drive and assume that we don't have any coolant leaks. So you guys hit that subscribe button for me, throw me a like, and I'll see you next video. Bye.